We're actually going to go to Douglas Wigdor, who represented one of the, what they call Molineux witnesses. You could explain it again, Douglas Wigdor, but let me ask you what your reaction is. You're standing outside the court. This was a case that you were involved in. What's your reaction?
Well, it's really pandemonium here at the courthouse. What we're not seeing is Harvey Weinstein walk out of the courthouse because he was remanded, put into custody for being found guilty for a B felony, which carries a maximum sentence of 25 years, and another felony, which carries a maximum sentence of 4 years. So it's pretty clear that Harvey Weinstein is going to do significant jail time. And I think in large measure, what really happened here at this trial was that you had 6 women testify, and that was just too much for the defense to overcome. And ultimately, they found in favor of both of the main victims, at least in part. And so it's a real big victory, I think, for all of the women, all of the sexual assault survivors who have a voice through these 6 women.
Douglas Wigdor, the last time we spoke, it was when the case went to the jury, or actually when the prosecution and the defense were making their closing arguments. So let me just ask you, because then you were a little bit nervous because of, you know, the idea that the 2 main plaintiffs had these supposed consensual relationships with them afterwards, and etc., that I've just been discussing with Anne Milgram. You must be particularly pleased, and particularly since you represented a woman who was a witness. She brought her testimony not as a plaintiff, sort of, you know, an A-list plaintiff, but as a witness to testify to a pattern of behavior, Tarale Wulff.
Right. You had 3 of those types of witnesses testify in this case, these so-called Molineux witnesses who really supported the 2 main victims, as did Annabella Sciorra, who was another witness. But really what I think the verdict shows is, despite some of those defenses about being in contact with Harvey Weinstein after the fact, that there were emails and other contacts after the fact, we as a society have really changed a lot post-Me Too. And people now understand the dynamics of rape and sexual assault, that they don't occur with strangers, that sexual assault survivors remain in contact with the predator that raped or sexually assaulted them. And this verdict today is really a testament to that exact ideal. And while they didn't convict Harvey Weinstein of the top 2 counts, the predatory sexual assaults, he is convicted of a B felony, which I said carries a 25-year sentence. And I think this judge, who has been very by the book and very tough but fair, I think that Harvey Weinstein is looking at what may be ultimately a life sentence anyway. Wow.
Well, let me ask you this. You said you were going to take a civil suit against him. There's a civil case that you're going to prosecute after this. And you said in that case you can force him to testify. Do you still plan to do that? And can you do that, I guess, while he's in prison under the current sentence? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. We've had cases where we have people who are in prison. It's not a fun trip to go upstate to have to take a deposition, but we will do that. While he was held accountable for 2 women's rape and sexual assault, I still represent 3 other women who want their day in court, and they plan to hold him responsible for what he did to them and for the harm that they suffered. And, you know, while today's verdict is really a strong and powerful thing that's happened now, it's not going to undo the harm to any of the women that they've suffered. They're going to continue to have to live with what happened to them for the rest of their life, and they deserve to be fairly and adequately compensated for not only what Harvey Weinstein did to them, but what we believe to be the directors of the Weinstein Company itself, and Disney, for knowing about what Harvey Weinstein was doing and turning a blind eye. And we will continue to seek to hold all of those people and those entities responsible for their actions.
Douglas Wigdor, thank you very much indeed. A really important day for accountability and for women who hopefully now will have the courage to bring these complaints and make them public.